Looking at the numbers, 1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted. I think it's still 1 in 4 within a college campus. So the likelihood of a female college student having a close friend disclose to them is pretty high.
Whether you're on campus or at home,
anywhere there's people, there's going to be bad stuff eventually.
Or miles away on spring break.
If a student goes to a spring break gathering, they have these things in mind and they keep things from escalating or from happening like what happened down in Panama City.
Thousands of college-age students make the trek to the Gulf each year. But in early April, instead of images of beach parties,
because investigators say the victim of the attack believes she was drugged,
Americans saw disturbing and graphic video of a gang rape recorded on a cell phone.
while less than 10 feet away, police say at least 3 men were gang raping an apparently unconscious 19-year-old woman.
What happened hundreds of miles away on spring break made it all the way back to MTSU. On April 15th, MTSU freshman George Kennedy was arrested for his alleged involvement in the incident. Many of the students we talked to were outraged.
And I can't believe that a group of people allowed something like that to happen.
It hits close to home that you were that far away from the school, but you got in trouble, and it's bringing it back into MTSU's image, and that's not a good thing.
We don't need to be a bystander. We need to be someone that goes out and helps them when you see that they're in need.
Advocates from the Sexual Assault Center in Nashville say the first step to effective bystander intervention is knowing what exactly sexual assault is.
Sexual assault and rape is sex without consent. And knowing that and recognizing that, and then empowering students to step forward and step up when they see something that makes them uncomfortable, to be able to say, hey, what's going on here? And to be able to help a survivor when necessary.
When we asked students what they would do if they, or someone they knew, were a victim of sexual assault, most could give a good answer.
Contact the MTSU police.
I'll report it to the police or someone as quickly as possible.
I think I would contact, campus police.
But when we ask students what the university does when a sexual assault is reported, many are unsure.
Not exactly, but I think I have an idea what it could be.
No.
So I'm really not totally sure, but I've heard it before. I don't know, I can't really remember it.
Honestly, no.
So we sat down with university officials and campus police to find out exactly what to do.
So they could choose to report to the counseling center or to health services and have no report that would come forward to the university at all if they wanted to maintain confidentiality. If they wanted the university to take some type of action, then they could file, if it happened on campus, with our police department, if it happened off campus, with the city of Murfreesboro.
For university police, helping the victim comes first.
The biggest thing is we want to catch the person and we want to be able to take care of that problem, but we want to provide victim services to the person that was the victim, which is almost more paramount than catching or prosecuting the person.
When reporting a sexual assault, the victim can report either to a university official or to campus police.
They can happen simultaneously or they can happen independently of one another. So a student could also choose to file a criminal charge and never report it to the university. They could report it to the university and never file a criminal charge.
University police conduct their investigation just like any other criminal investigation. If a student wishes to press charges through the university, Judicial Affairs launches an investigation.
Judicial Affairs would meet initially with whoever was reporting to gather as much information as possible. Hopefully that would be the names of everybody that was involved, and then they'd begin an investigation process of calling all of those people in to hear their stories and try to get a better sense of exactly what happened.
During their investigation, Judicial Affairs gathers information to send to President McPhee for final approval. Afterward, both the victim and the suspect have the right to appeal the verdict.
If you were suspended or expelled, you've always had an appeals process where if you have additional information that wasn't a part of the hearing process that you want to have considered now, that's been a part of our process.
Reaching a conclusion through the criminal process can take much longer. The speed of the case all depends on the speed of the district attorney's office.
However, it's investigated whether they prosecute or not. So you have a full investigation regardless of whether or not you have a victim willing to prosecute.
Unlike the university process, because a full criminal investigation is completed, the case can be brought up if the victim changes their mind on pressing charges.
So that if a year from now, the victim comes back and says, hey, I want to prosecute now, I've changed my mind, then the evidence and everything that led up to that point has been done the exact same way, regardless of the situation.
Whether it's talking to someone from counseling services or seeking medical attention here at MTSU Health Services, there are resources out there for sexual assault victims here on campus. It really comes down to the victim knowing how and who to ask.
When it happens in a residential hall, you have both student affairs, residential life, all these folks that get into the process of finding a way to make this person safe.
If you're sharing an apartment together, we are able to offer alternative living accommodations. If you're dependent on that significant other to drive you to and from campus, we're prepared to offer transportation for folks. If you're in the same class, we're prepared to move folks out of class. If you need to be escorted to and from locations because you're afraid that somebody's going to come at you or be in your face, we're prepared to offer that type of assistance. There are a number of things we're prepared to do if the victim wants us to support them in that particular way.
Anyone, including MTSU students, can seek outside help from resources like the Sexual Assault Center in Nashville.
So our doors are open to anybody who wants services and support, and that includes college students, whether they've been assaulted on campus or off campus, or you're a college-age individual who's not in college. Really any point. We have clients as young as 2 years old up to 100.
When it comes to the university, these resources and guidelines are supposed to be in place no matter where the student may be, whether it's in the heart of campus or in the middle of a beach in Panama City. In the eyes of the federal government, Middle Tennessee State is stuck in the middle of several different reporting requirements.
We, as a law enforcement agency, we have to adhere to the TIBR's end of compliance with the Department of Justice and reporting. As a higher education institution, we have to report and comply with the Clery standards.
The TBI report is the one you probably hear about the most. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation takes statistics from the criminal process and outlines them in a yearly report released each spring. This year, MTSU's numbers for sexual assault were actually down. In 2013, 7 sexual assaults were investigated. Last year, only 2. But it's this year's TBI report that the university wants you to know about.
Our sexual assault numbers are very low, and we actually had fewer sexual assault incidents year over year based on the latest TBI crime stats.
In fact, MTSU News and Media Relations released this report promoting lower numbers. The problem? TBI only reports those that go through a criminal investigation. And according to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 63% of all sexual assaults are not reported to police. So if it didn't go through a criminal investigation, it wouldn't be included in the TBI report. The report that shows actually how many incidents were brought forward in 2014 won't be released until October. That report is compiled by the University Police, and it satisfies requirements set by the Department of Education under what's called the Clery Act. You've probably seen this report labeled as the MTSU Annual Security Report. These numbers are compiled a little differently. If the incident happens off campus but involves a student, the only way campus police knows about it is if another agency lets them know.
If they know or are aware of the fact that it's an MTSU student, they're technically supposed to hopefully make us aware of it.
But that doesn't always happen. In fact, according to Lieutenant Stuckey, they have to go through the reports themselves to find out if an MTSU student was involved.
And basically what happens is the City of Murfreesboro forwards all the reports, and we have to kind of pick through them and try to find out. It may or may not indicate that there's a student in there, but if it indicates that there's a student involvement and then we look at it and it fits one of the categories, then we plug it in there.
If the incident happens on campus, that incident automatically falls into the Clery Act reports.
Through judicial affairs, we report all of our statistics to the university police, and the university police ultimately are the ones that put their reports and our reports together for the purposes of Clery so that there's one statement coming out.
In comparison to the TBI report that only documents criminal investigations, the Clery Act focuses on the initial reports that were made. So while Clery gives a broader report, it won't show you what action the university has taken.
A lot of it overlaps, but it's not exactly perfectly meshing, if that makes sense.
Once again, we won't know the Cleary statistics for 2014 until the fall, but according to TBI statistics for last year, criminal cases for sexual assault around campus are down. Dean of Students Sarah Sudak says she's not sure if lower numbers should truly be the goal.
I don't know what the right answer is. I would like to think that the numbers are lower because we are doing a better job at communicating how to keep yourself out of those situations and that they're not happening. But on the flip side, I'm realistic to know that part of it may be that the numbers are down because people aren't reporting it. You sort of have to come to terms with low numbers look good on a piece of paper, but if it's not adequately representing what's happening on campus, and if you have people who aren't getting the services they need, is that truly what's best for the university?
So the focus for the university then comes to educating students on what to do, which begs the question, do students really know what to do if they become a victim?
I'm going to guess no. I think we're trying to educate students. So as a part of the orientation program, as students come in for customs, sadly, part of their orientation is an introduction to VAWA and the sexual misconduct policy.
VAWA is the Violence Against Women Act, signed into law in 1994 that, among other things, requires the university to hold educational seminars about sexual assault, both at new student orientation and throughout the student's educational career.
We have to send out notifications every semester. So again, are students reading their emails?
For the students we talked to, they all said no.
Because if you email it to us, we're not going to read it because it's too long.
I know a lot of people don't know what's going on. They don't know what it is, what the rules are. And
It looks very legally based. Is a lot of it just designed based off of legal requirements?
Yeah, it is. We have laws that we have to follow, so they are pretty unpretty.
While Ms. Sudak admits the emails aren't engaging, she hopes the email will provide a starting point.
That if they find I need a resource, I need help, they know that there's somebody there that can help them. They may not know the specific office, but they may remember seeing an email from the Dean of Students.
Beyond what the university is legally required to do, campus departments do host different events on the topic of sexual violence. The June Anderson Center for Women held several different events during the month of April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Their biggest event was the Clothesline Project, where individuals could paint shirts with anonymous messages. While the words on display were certainly powerful, the purpose may not have been clear to all students.
I know it's for a center. They're doing a domestic violence campaign. I'm not really sure which one it's for.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's just a campaign to spread awareness about domestic violence.
The Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life also heavily promotes a national campaign called It's on Us, geared towards the Greek community.
At Middle Tennessee State University, it's on us.
It's on us to stop being a bystander to the problem of sexual assault.
It's on us.
But for students who may not be as heavily involved, this important message could be falling silent.
So, some of the fraternities and some of the student organizations are aware of it, but as far as the students who aren't a part of any of those organizations, they're kind of like it just kind of goes over their head because they're unaware of that stuff.
I would say that I'm decently involved on campus, and I don't even know, I'm constantly surrounded by a diverse group of people, and I still don't really know about it. So I definitely think there should be more done about it.
As a place of higher learning, Lieutenant Stuckey hopes some students will seek information on their own.
There's plenty of internet resources within the university that they can look at and see basically what avenues there are out there. I mean, if they don't want to come to us, they can go to somebody else. But part of it is it's a higher education institution and people have to educate themselves.
For MTSU The Bridge, I'm Chris Davis.